Welcome into the Divine Spell list, rank 6 and 7. This is the end of your mid game, your high level stuff. We got some interesting picks at this tier, so whether you're a church enjoyer or a god hater, we got some powerful divine spells to pick from. Welcome in, I'm Lord Generic, and this is Practical Pathfinder. At rank 6, it's kind of an odd rank for divine spells. You got some really good attack spells, powerful damaging options, and then like a couple utility things. So if you're looking for cool buffs, well, you got it, because this is when heroism upgrades, but if you're looking for damage, this is where our new stuff is. And speaking of new stuff, Awaken Entropy is such a funny spell. This spell is a fortitude save that every time you sustain it, creates a big zone, and it does damage in that zone. But when you sustain it, the zone grows. It gets bigger. It doesn't move, mind you, but it gets bigger. And everyone in the zone takes increased damage. That's really good. That's really good. So the damage is okay when it starts, but it goes from D6s to D8s, then D10s, then D12s. D12 damage on a sustained zone is crazy, brother. That's some good stuff. But Blessed Boundary is generally going to be your main control and damage spell. This creates a hollow sphere of like spinning blades or spikes or whatever you want it to be, right? And anyone who touches the edge of the sphere, and note this sphere can be whatever size you want up to a 60-foot burst, so massive or tiny, whatever fits your situation. Anyone who touches it or starts their turn in it is going to take a bunch of damage and potentially get shoved out of the wall, shoved away, canceling their movement and being forced away. This means you can constantly hit them, you can shove them into it, you can grapple them, and it's so many ways for the party to work with the Blessed Boundary and rack up tons and tons of environmental damage. This is the wall slam Daredevil wishes it could provide. If you want something a little more simple, a little easier to use though, I mean, we can summon a skeleton army. Are you not trying to summon a skeleton army? This is a fun incarnate spell. We can finally get ourselves some fun incarnate spells, which are summon spells. This one summons a massive army of skeletons. When they appear, they do an okay giant AoE around them. On the turn you cast the spell, and on the turn afterwards, the end of your turn, the army moves and then does a big line AoE. So it's 2 instances of damage. It adds up to being pretty good damage between the two. And it's really that versatility thing. If you want sustained, value over time versus a big burst, that's why you would consider Skeleton Army. Besides the obvious reason of summoning and, you have an army of skeletons. That's rad. If you want massive damage though, take Spirit Blast. Oh, I'll note, by the way, Skeleton Army, reflex save. As we mentioned, these are rare. Same with Blessed Boundary. Anyways, Spirit Blast, this is your fortitude save that does massive damage. This is a single target spell. This sacrifices every trick, every debuff, every fancy thing. It does 16d6 damage. For the reference, a standard spell scaling does 12d6. This does 16. Screw subtlety, massive damage bomb. Spirit Blast rules, love that design. If you want something with a little more not hyper focus though, Vampiric Exsanguination is kind of our last pick here. This is a fortitude save and a 30-foot cone. It does, your standard 12d6 damage and gives you some temp health. This is just high level Vampiric Feast. While that's a lot of damage options, us buff lovers do get heroism. Heroism at rank 6, now it's a +2 to hit saving throws and skills to one ally. This makes it insane. It's not interesting, right? It's not an exciting buff, but a +2 on your striker or your big pinch hitter for the fight, that's the big deal. That's crazy good. You also get True Sight at this tier, which is, it's kind of like your upgrade to See the Unseen. Less specific, less of a hard counter, but more of a general anti-illusion spell. A nice thing to have in the pocket. And last, Zealous Conviction is our party-wide buff. This takes a while to cast, but gives your party temp HP for all of them and a will save against mental effects. Pretty good on a crowd of allies. And more importantly, debuffs, dude. Rank 6, Manifestation of Spirits. Remember that spell I recommend gets banned? I still recommend you don't use this, but if you are, it now targets 5 creatures. That's stupefied 3 in the whole fight. That's wild. That is wild. And for something a little more fair, Roaring Applause might not actually be more fair, frankly. But Roaring Applause now targets 10 creatures at rank 6. So good. So good. Turn off all their reactions. They all trigger reactive strikes. Remember, if they fail their save, they're slowed 1 for as long as you sustain this bad boy, and they're gonna stay slowed. Someone's gonna fail. You're hitting the whole crowd. Now, we also have Repulsion. This is a funny and weird spell. Repulsion is up to a 40-foot emanation that basically they may have to make a saving throw. They have to make a will save, and by they I mean everyone, to approach you. This is a very interesting spell because it hits your team. If you're a backline character, if you stand in the back of the party, why would you want to make it so that your allies can't retreat? But if you're a frontline character, if you're a frontline war priest cleric, and you have a ranged focused party, Repulsion rules. Now you can cast it, make it so enemies approaching you, it's really hard to get close, they have to waste actions against difficult terrain, and your party can still move away from you. Because they're kiting backwards, they're moving backwards, shooting off their ranged attacks, and you, the front line, can also move back a little bit, just not quite as much, and force the enemy to keep approaching when it's so hard, when it's so penalizing for them to do so. Very team specific. Very team specific. You do got cash to splash for items though. Pretty much all of these upcast things that we had are super worth carrying. Heroism, wands and scrolls of heroism can't go wrong. Roaring Applause is just a really good AoE. And True Sight and Zealous Conviction, if you have time before a fight, you may as well dump HP on the party. And if you know there's illusions and invisibility and all that sort of things around, hey, True Sight it up. For us damage lovers though, for us final builds, blasters in the crowd are gonna just want Blessed Boundary. This spell kicks butt. So good. Make sure to use it with parties that love shove, that have force movement, parties that can make advantage of grapple, and force the enemy into the wall more than once so you can get maximum value. But even if you can't, if you force multiple enemies to have to cross the wall and to shove some of them back, canceling their move actions, even in a worst case scenario, it's doing pretty good. And for your other damage options, Skeleton Army, come on, you know I'm going to pick the Skeleton Warriors, they're rad! And Spirit Blast for your single target. When there's one bad guy, like, hey, you know what, screw this guy, blast him for massive damage. It's simple, it's a big hammer, and those guys are looking like a nail. For the more numbers-minded, the more teamwork inclined, strategists, you're really going to be wanting Heroism and Roaring Applause. Like I said, not an exciting rank for you. While it's an incredibly powerful rank, better Heroism, better Roaring Applause, these are so good. It's kind of like, you already had these spells. They're just better now. right? And Zell's Conviction, once again, hey, you got some extra time for a buff, you may as well toss that up. And I hate to say it, but when you hit high levels, guess what? It's still all about heroism and roaring applause. Even when damage falls off these buffs due to how Pathfinder's math works, they stay good no matter what. And True Sight, you're gonna want to pocket True Sight on you. Sometimes you just gotta counteract invisibility, illusions, whatever, fey trickery abounds. As we level up though, once we hit those delicious rank 7 spells, ooh, you notice how the damage train just keeps getting better for Divine since rank 4. It's kind of odd, honestly. But 7 is no slouch. Attack from within, this is your single target damage plus frightened. Pretty standard stuff. Good damage, good debuff on top of each other. It's your nice single target pick of a will save. Though it is uncommon, it's not like particularly stronger, so I don't see a reason you wouldn't be allowed to get it. But hey, it is uncommon. Divine Decree, though, this is your Divine Wrath at rank 7. Now, this is a 40-foot AoE that does not friendly fire. But it's pretty much identical to Divine Wrath, but instead of sickened 1 on a failure, it implies an enfeebled 2. Not really that much different. I kind of prefer sickened 1 over enfeebled 2 myself, though it struggles to me to beat rank 7 Divine Wrath. Though, a 40-foot AoE, that's a lot bigger than 20-foot. That's like 4 times the area, so it's hard to hate on that. But if you want the biggest AoE, if it's all about size, Eclipse Burst, Sunburst, and Moonburst are where it's at. You get the burst. I think it's wild that you get these as an option whatsoever, but this is the damage spell at rank 7. Huge AoE damage, 60-foot burst. You just slam the entire city block with pain, dude. A great attack spell. And Sun and Moonburst, these are your anti-undead variants of Eclipse Burst. It's Eclipse Burst being bad against the undead. The only problem with these spells is they do friendly fire. So that's your decision. Do you want the mega damage option, or do you want Divine Decree to just avoid friendly fire and you can just blast this off whenever you want? Buffs certainly ain't slacking though at rank 7. Energy Aegis is an interesting spell, a great wand, but kind of tough to make a spell slot argument for. This is a 24-hour buff of resist 5 to all energy damage. That's right, you now resist all energy damage for the day. Pretty good stuff. But it's only 5 points. When you can be dropping huge, powerful spells, it's hard to argue for 5 points of resist, especially when resist energy is so good by this rank. Regenerate, though, ooh, I do love me a good regenerate, I gotta say. Regenerate allows you to heal for 15 points every round, you or whoever you put this on. And most importantly, while regenerating, you can't die. Unless it has the death effect, you cannot die. That's so good. However, keep in mind, much like a troll, fire and acid damage, ooh, they're gonna light you up. Your regeneration turns off if you take fire and acid damage, and you will die. So be careful. I have lost characters to that. I have indeed lost a character to that very situation. War March, though, rank 7. This is now a +2 AoE hit, fortitude, and will save buff. That's crazy. While uncommon, if you have this, it is so good at rank 2. And Shock to the System, this is a personal favorite of mine. What a versatile spell. This is a combat res. Now, a lot less valuable for Divine. Other spell traditions, like Primal, Shock to the System is a great way to revive the dead. That's super nice. Well, you have Breath of Life, which is better at doing that as Divine. However, this still does a lot of things. Shock to the System is a heal spell that you don't have to wait for them to be dead to use it, by the way. You can just use it. It's a heal spell that also quickens them, it gives them a haste effect, and it lets them cast rank 5 Thunderbolt as an at-will spell. That's a lot of power. You toss that onto like a monk or a champion or a ranger, someone with decent spell DC, they can really go in with that. You got some pretty funny debuffs at rank 7 as well. Inexhaustible Cynicism is very, very specific, very much a scroll spell, but it breaks up enemy teamwork. It makes it so that up to 5 targets on a will save no longer trust each other. They no longer consider each other allies. And because they're no longer allies, that means they can't target each other with ally targeting things, right? You can use this to break up squads of enemy adventurers, basically. That's kind of the best use case scenario for this spell, but ooh, is it good at that. And Tempest of Shades is one that I really like. I've used it well. I know not everyone loves it. I like it. But this is 2 debuffs. Round 1 as an Incarnate Summon. This works on your round when you summon it, and at the end of your next turn. At the start, it applies a big Fortitude save for Drained, and then when it leaves on the next turn, it applies a Will save for Frightened. That's a lot of debuffs to be throwing out across multiple turns, and you fight large groups of enemies, this is a solid pick. Yet for the wealthy among us, there's a lot of things to buy at rank 7, though buying rank 7 anything will never be cheap, frankly. Energy Aegis as a wand is a really good one to have. Resist Energy 5 to everything is just a tasty thing to pick up. War March, you're going to want as many of those as you can fit if you're allowed to get them. That +2 to all stats. Hey, hard to hate. Fly at rank 7 is a very nice pick though. At rank 7, Fly lasts for 1 hour. Great pre-combat buff. Great exploration. It's the same Fly, but even better. And Inexhaustible Cynicism. Most enemies aren't relying on allies to like work together, right? But if you run into it, this spell will really just take them out. It will crumple their synergy. Now, for our damage dealing lovers, our blasters, wow, you got so many picks here, right? Attacked from Within is a nice single target, frightened plus damage. It's hard to hate on the classics, right? It's hard to hate on something that just kind of works pretty well. It is uncommon, so hey, if you can pick it, nice. Divine Wrath at rank 7, what can I say? It's back as ever. I like Divine Decree, don't get me wrong. I would swap Attack from Within for Divine Decree. It's just good. But I like the Sickened from Divine Wrath a little more than the Enfeebled of Divine Decree. Very much a personal pick. It doesn't really matter which one you go for. And Eclipse Burst, if you want that mega friendly fire farming death sphere, Eclipse Burst can't be beat. You're really going to want to hope you go first in the fight so you can slam this into all the enemies before your party is close, because ooh, that is such a massive AoE, dude. If you shy away from raw damage, I think Attack from Within is still worth picking for us strategists, just because, again, it's uncommon, you might not have access to it, but the frightened plus damage is good. And the damage, 12d8 at rank 7, d8s, that's pretty good damage. This is a solid spell. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but we don't play strategists for flash, right? That's Blaster's thing. This is just a great single target pick. War March is definitely going to be on what you want. Boy, a lot of uncommon picks at rank 7, huh? Because that +2 to hit, Fortitude, and Will is so strong. And I am partial to Tempest of Shades myself. The Fortitude for Drain, the Will save for Frightened, stacking debuffs really lets your party clear the enemies before them quite easily. You stack Tempest of Shades turn 1, turn 2 you turn on War March. oh, you got some crazy number manipulation. I mean, that's 2 rank 7 slots, so it should be good, but ooh, it's strong. There you have it. The high level spells, well, the ones that you practically get end of mid level, you could say, start of high level. But hey, this is where your spells are really kind of peaking. Frankly, levels 8, 9, and 10, I'm not amazed by the Divine list. We'll definitely go through it. There's some fun stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. But either way, you've watched this far, you gotta see how this finishes. So be sure and catch us for the rest. Make sure, check out some of our builds and our other things as well if you've enjoyed this. I'm Lord Generic, and I'll see you next time.